What if I told you that the Harley-Davidson just dropped a bike that starts under 10 grand, and it might actually be the most fun you can have on two wheels without selling a kidney? Yeah, we're talking about the 2026 Harley-Davidson Nightster. And before you hit that back button thinking this is just another blacked-out cruiser doing the same old thing, stick around, because by the end of this video, you're gonna find out whether this thing is a legend reborn or just a pretty face with an orange paint job. And trust me, that answer might surprise you. Welcome back to Moto Metrics. Let's get into it. Let's start with what this bike actually is, because context matters. The Nightster sits in Harley's Sport lineup, alongside the Nightster Special and the Sportster S. It rides on the Revolution Max platform, the same architecture that Harley has been building its modern identity around. This isn't your grandfather's Sportster. This is Harley admitting that the world changed and actually doing something about it. And for 2026, they didn't just slap a new sticker on last year's model. There are real, tangible updates. The Revolution Max 975T engine now sports highlighted cooling fins, a detail that sounds minor until you see it in the sun and realize it completely transforms how the motor looks. It shifts the visual weight of the bike in a way that makes it look like a proper piece of engineering, not just a machine with an engine tucked inside it. On a faceless video channel, details like that matter a lot because they're exactly the kind of thing you notice when the bike rolls past you on the street. Now let's talk numbers, because you came here for real information. The heart of this machine is the 975cc liquid-cooled Revolution Max 975T V-twin. It pumps out 91 horsepower at 7,500 RPM and 72 pound-feet of torque at 5,750 RPM. That torque number is key. It arrives early enough to feel satisfying in city traffic and strong enough to give you serious confidence when you crack the throttle on a highway on-ramp. This engine doesn't just exist, it pulls, and the 2-into-1 exhaust paired with the downdraft air intake means it breathes freely and responds sharply. The sound is punchy, modern, and unmistakably Harley, without being obnoxious at a stoplight. The 6-speed transmission shifts cleanly, the belt drive means almost zero maintenance headaches, and the fuel economy? You're looking at around 52 miles per gallon. On a 3.1-gallon tank, that gives you roughly 160 miles of range before you need to stop. Is that going to get you across the country on one fill? No. But is it going to make your daily commute or weekend canyon run cheap and enjoyable? Absolutely. Here's something that always gets glossed over in bike reviews, and I promise you it matters more than the horsepower number. Weight distribution. Harley made a very deliberate engineering decision on the Nightster. They tucked the fuel tank under the seat. Yes, that peanut-shaped cover near the airbox? That's not the tank. The actual fuel lives low and central in the chassis. This isn't just a styling trick. It drops the center of gravity dramatically, which means this 481-pound wet bike handles like it weighs less. At 27.1 inches of seat height, the Nightster is accessible to a huge range of riders. Most people will be flat-footed or close to it. That's not an accident. That's intentional design for a machine that wants to build confidence, not intimidate you in a parking lot. Speaking of parking lots, raise your hand if you've ever dropped a bike just trying to maneuver it slowly at low speed. No judgment here. The Nightster's low center of gravity is genuinely aimed at solving that problem. Okay, let's talk tech, because this is where Harley has done serious growing up. The 2026 Nightster comes standard with 3 selectable ride modes: Road, Sport, and Rain. These aren't just marketing words. They actually change how the throttle responds, how power is delivered, and how aggressive the overall character of the bike feels. Want to ride in the wet? Rain mode softens everything down and lets you focus on survival. Want to have some actual fun on a Sunday morning with empty roads? Sport mode wakes it up. Road is your everyday sweet spot. And supporting all of that is a full suite of rider safety enhancements that frankly would have seemed excessive on a Sportster 10 years ago. You get ABS, traction control, and the drag torque slip control system, which is designed to prevent the rear wheel from snapping sideways when you aggressively downshift. That last one is the kind of feature that experienced riders will appreciate enormously, and newer riders won't notice until the one time it saves them. Full LED lighting rounds it all out, giving you a clean, modern look and better visibility in both both directions. Now, you might be wondering, what's the catch? What does all this actually cost you? Here it is. The 2026 Harley-Davidson Nightster starts at $9,999. That's the base price in dark billiard gray. If you want the blood orange colorway, which for 2026 comes with the exclusive flat-track-inspired tank graphics straight from Harley's XR75 racing heritage, color-matched fenders, a chrome exhaust shield, and the 14-spoke black Nightster special wheels, you're looking at an additional $450 to $650 on top of that. $9,999 for a Harley with 91 horsepower, traction control, ABS, drag torque slip control, LED lighting, and a chassis so well balanced that a 481-pound bike feels like it weighs significantly less. That is genuinely not a bad number. Compare that to the Nightster Special, the step-up model, which starts at $12,499 and adds a 4-inch TFT color display with turn-by-turn navigation, Bluetooth, cruise control, a mini fairing, a passenger pillion, and 5 ride modes instead of 3. The Special is the choice if you want more technology. The base Nightster is the choice if you want the purest, most focused version of this experience. Now, here's the thing nobody's really talking about with this bike. The blood orange trim package for 2026 is a limited expression. That XR75 wet slide tank graphic is a direct nod to Harley's flat track racing heritage, an era when the motor company was winning dirt track championships and building a reputation on raw performance rather than chrome and nostalgia. When Harley does something like this, it's not just a paint job, it's a statement about what the brand believes this motorcycle is. And that statement is, this thing is meant to be ridden, not admired from a garage. Whether you agree with that or not is honestly your call, but it adds a layer of character to the Nightster that you simply don't get on a plain black cruiser. And character, real, genuine character, is increasingly rare on a motorcycle at this price point. So, who is this bike actually for? It's for the rider who wants Harley's name, Harley's feel, and Harley's heritage, but doesn't want to be fighting a 700-pound machine through traffic every day. It's for the commuter who wants something that turns heads without turning their wrists into ruins. It's for the person stepping off an entry-level bike and looking for their first serious machine. And honestly, it's for the experienced rider who wants something fun, light, and unpretentious that doesn't cost a fortune to maintain. The 52 miles per gallon, the belt drive, the low seat, the confidence-building electronics, all of it points to a bike that wants to be used regularly, without drama. Is it perfect? Nothing is. The 3.1-gallon tank will require more frequent stops on longer rides. If you want highway touring comfort, the Nightster isn't your bike. That's what the Road Glide exists for. And if you're the kind of rider who needs a passenger seat as a standard feature, the base model will send you straight to the Special. These are real limitations. Know what you're buying. But here's what sticks with me after going deep on this machine. For under $10,000, Harley-Davidson is giving you a liquid-cooled, 91-horsepower, ABS-equipped, traction-controlled, beautifully designed motorcycle with a lineage stretching back to the original Sportster. The kind of bike that gets talked about at coffee shops, the kind of bike that other riders walk up to in parking lots, and the kind of bike that when you're actually riding it just feels right. Low, confident, connected, and alive. That's the 2026 Harley-Davidson Nightster, and $9,999 doesn't feel steep for that experience. It actually feels like a deal. If you want to keep that energy going, there's another video waiting for you on screen right now. Go ahead and tap it. We've got more bikes, more data, and more real talk coming your way. I'll see you there.